Hello viewers around the world and welcome back to a brand new video. This is XP Gaming and today's video is going to be about this week's new update, which is pretty big. Okay, it's one of the, it's pretty much, it is pretty big, but it's not like crazy huge compared to the updates we have with this season. This season has been pretty constant in the size of the updates and how many updates we're getting, but this update is really crazy. We'll be covering not just this update, but as well as other things that have been going on for the past few days that I was unable to make a video about, but now I guess it's fine. We're all going to basically combine it into one video. This update was pretty crazy. There was a lot to talk about, including this first thing, which is Slurpy Swamp has been abducted. Okay, it's been gotten, at least I guess that is what it's called. It has gotten to a semi-abduction, you could say. So this is the biggest part of the new update, and that is today. Slurpy Swamp got changed in Fortnite. Now if you look to it, if you go to it, it's actually in a low gravity zone. It's surrounded in a low gravity zone, and it's different from the one at Holly Hatchery. It's actually a really nice low gravity zone, and by nice I mean I think we all read the one at not Riskies, but the one at Holly's. A lot of people, I saw, and I myself, people didn't really like that one. So the one at Holly Hatchery, as it is called now, it was really weird. It was really hard to get accustomed to, and it was really hard to play it. It was actually a kind of a disadvantage. There was also an item added when Holly Hatchery came into the game, known as nanite cubes, and I've been taught it would help them a lot or whatever you want to say, but it was actually pretty bad. Like you would be at a disadvantage if you were fighting in there. A tremendous disadvantage if you were fighting in there. It would really suck. So yeah, continuing onward with this week's update, they've added a low gravity zone in this update, and I think they might have also changed the Holly Hatchery one. I'm quite sure they did. I'm like 90% sure they did, but they might have changed it. And so now the Slurpy Swamp area, if you go in it, it's actually fun to play. It's like actually something you can play in, and it feels good. You all and this time you will be at a bit of an advantage, at least you won't be at a disadvantage against someone who's outside the area. It's still gonna be kind of hard to play in since it's new. It's not like it's not gonna take time to get accustomed to, but it does give you, it won't give you a disadvantage and won't cause you to tremendously die in any way. The way it works is it's like a real low gravity zone. You just jump higher, you don't take fall damage, I believe, and you fall quicker. So that was the biggest problem with the other low gravity zones, if you remember. The problem with the other low gravity zone was that at Holly Hatchery was that you couldn't fall quick enough down. It was really hard to play in, but this one's fine. This one just literally just gives you low gravity. It doesn't change the way you fall or anything. So yeah, that's the biggest probably thing about this new update, what happened to Holly Hatchery. But you might also say it is the new weapon. So this is a pretty interesting weapon. It's been leaked for a long time, and the leakers have been able to use it with, well, yeah, or hackers or whatever you want to call them. So they have been able to use this weapon, which is called the Gravitron, and it's literally what the name says. Unfortunately, right now it has been disabled. Once it comes back into the game, I will actually make another video on it. So make sure you stick around by the channel. So the Gravitron was in the game for a short amount of time. It's a purple item. It only comes with purple rarity. And after all, I'm not sure how you could make that a weird item like that into a different rarity. I'm not sure how that would work, because like I said before, it literally does what it says. it literally just causes you to grab. It just grabs stuff. It can and it's really useful too, from what I've seen. I haven't been able to use it, unfortunately, myself since, well, it got disabled. Oh my god, no. That makes it actually going pretty well. But yeah, that won't stop us from completing this video. So anyways, continuing onward, the Gravitron can basically, you know, grab most items in the game. If it's too big, it can't grab like, well, actually, that's it can grab like something that is unbreakable. Okay, it can grab like the actual floor in, let's say, Pleasant Park if it's not breakable. So it can grab stuff that is too big, and yeah, it can grab stuff that is too big, but the stuff it can grab, it's pretty interesting how it works. So you can, I believe you press your shoot button to grab it, or your aim button. I think the only buttons you have to use are the aim and shoot button, and then you can launch whatever you have at your opponent. So depending on the size of the item, it will destroy the builds around that person. Most builds, you know, depending on the size of the item again, but it will also do damage to your opponents depending on the size of the item, or depending on what the item is, and that's pretty interesting. So this is probably one of the best parts about the item. It can deflect rocket launchers. So already rocket launchers. So now rocket launchers being really rare in the game. It's kind of been that since chapter 2. Like chapter 2 season 3, rocket launchers have been pretty much impossible to find. And yeah, so now let's just get into the video real quick. And also, there's something else I need to talk about, which we'll be talking about in just a few seconds, not too long. So yeah, we're gonna go back to Super Swamp, and because something happened, I had to start the video mid-match, I guess, mid that match. So the Gravitron can actually grab rocket launchers and deflect it, and it can also grab grenades and what else. It only shows rockets being grabbed if it's shot back at the opponent, but not you know, grenades or whatever. But any basically kind of throwable, it can literally grab any throwable. So yeah, you know, the perfect example is a recon expert grenade. You know, that doesn't actually really hurt anyone. It just, you know, shows the stuff in that area. So it can grab anything. It can grab a recon expert recon scanner grenade, and then it can launch it wherever you want. So this isn't like, well, as I've seen in another game. I mean, it basically, when you grab a launcher, it shoot it, well, I guess in this case it will be back to the sender. It will actually do, you know, full damage to that opponent. It'll go at the same speed and everything. I've seen something like this in the other games, and usually something like this, it wouldn't like shoot at the same velocity and wouldn't really be explosive anymore. But this is really pretty interesting. It literally it's literally like a mirror, I guess you could say. You know how that's okay, well, seriously? Come on. Oh, I do not know how I survived that guy. That guy damaged me way too much. That's why I find it very hard to use the pump sometimes. It can really lead to your death sometimes. But yeah, anyways, back on to the point of the subject of the Gravitron. It's really an interesting item. It is kind of hard to use though. It's but I don't think it's too rare. Back when it was in the game. Now, as I said before, it has been removed from the game. Back when it was in the game, from what I understood, it wasn't that rare. It was basically as rare as you would expect for a purple item. But it's not like the craziest rare thing in the world. You can find it not too difficultly, like it's not too difficult to find it from henchman chests and alien chests and stuff like that. So it is pretty not that hard to find. And it's not going to be like the nanite cubes, which, oh my god, that was crazy. I don't understand why they even made it a common item. Like something like that, it seemed like it should be. It's pretty obvious. It seemed like to me, like I didn't have signal and stuff. Dude, it's so hard. This area is pretty, you know, it's normal because it does give you higher gravity, but you do go down at the same speed, so it does feel normal. But in fact, but now it's like it's kind of difficult to aim. That's pretty much the only thing that's wrong in this area, because since you're jumping a lot more and you can't aim midair, that's no problem. But anyways, continuing back to the video. Actually, alright. So back to the subject of the Grabatron. We've pretty much covered every aspect of it, and as I was talking about at the moment, how rare it is. It's not that rare, and that's pretty much everything you need to know about the Grabatron. Unfortunately, just some kind of glitch, I believe. It has been removed from the game temporarily, but that almost always happens with new items. So that's two things covered about this new update. Cerberus being abducted, or midway abduction, which I'm actually going to explain right now, and the Grabatron being introduced as an item. So the next part is abductions. Okay, a lot of locations in the season are gonna get abducted, like 3 or 4, and this is actually kind of nice because for most of the season, unlike last chapter, we haven't really gotten new biomes or actual name changes for places that have stuck around. Like usually it's just for that season. I believe something about new locations actually being introduced into the season and then sticking around to believe it forward. Like this entire chapter. I say season, but I mean chapter. So that's been kind of crazy. That after all that time, that after everything that's been going on, this chapter, the locations don't actually change and like stick around. So yeah, however, I'm not sure how you could change back to what was before. So after the season, obviously a lot of locations are going to be destroyed and stuff. So those are hopefully going to change forever. So that's going to be interesting. Also, for some reason, I've noticed recently that the abductors have been moved in the game. Now, I didn't say that in like the patch note and in the update or anything. Maybe I did say like in the patch or something, and wow, nobody landed here. But yeah, that's kind of interesting that there is the abductor, and okay, someone didn't land here. Usually these abductors have a lot more weapons. I'm not sure if this one, if you didn't know, this abductor, it's obviously going to be part of the Arena Grande concert event, but something else we're going to be talking about. And it can't actually abduct people, but I thought it'd be able to still spawn weapons, but I guess now it can. I do remember that it was able to do that before. So we're gonna go back now and continue talking about the update and how the UFOs, not the UFOs, the aliens will be abducting people. Like they'll be abducting actual locations now, kind of how they abduct the fire and destroy it. So now a lot of locations we know will be different. They'll have low gravity zones and they'll mostly be in ruins. So I believe the way it's gonna work is, as you can see, if I look here, as you know, the abductor, no, not the abductor, but the mothership, the alien mothership, that came down to the island in the first place. It has been moving around the island for a long time, and as we all know, it's been because they're looking for the 0 point. Because somehow they lost it, even though when Cirque Spire was right there. But now, if you look here, ever since this update came out, which is pretty much a day ago, but usually it moves like every day. It's still here, and it's getting open a few days ago, if you didn't know. Although there's not much to make a video about that. There's still not enough stuff to really make a full-on video. But yes, if you look at the mothership now, it's actually its main door is actually open. And if you don't know, that's what it uses. It's not really a blaster, but it did destroy the spire after the abducted it. So after the abducted it, kind of used some sort of laser beam and then destroyed the spire. So as you can see, it's open, and if you hear some weird noises, that's not just like actual weird noises. It's coming from the mothership's door opening. So I believe the way it's gonna work, still gonna move around the map, but it's gonna stop for like, I don't know, 3 days maybe, at a specific location, and then it's going to destroy it. So this has been in the files for a while, the Slurpy Swamp one, but the one that's really been in the files for a really long time has been Coral Castle. And now Coral Castle this week is actually getting destroyed. Finally, it's either going to get destroyed with the event or with something bigger going on. So yeah, the way as you remember, Slurpy Swamp was this is what I meant by midway abduction. It hasn't fully abducted the POIs, but stuff is floating, and soon it will fully abduct the locations. So everyone be careful. Also, this is pretty big news, but they finally buffed the pulse rifle, even though people have been kind of complaining about it all season, and after a while, you know, from what I saw, people kind of stopped and they just didn't use the item. But tell me, how many times do you see someone actually using a pulse rifle in a match? Okay, most of the time, I barely see anyone land at. Whoa. Okay, still kind of hard to use for me. But yeah, how many times do you see someone using Sloan's Big Push Rifle or landing at Courtney Complex? Like, there are a few people, but not as much as there should be for a mythic, like a mythic IM to be there, or like a boss location. But now it's actually been buffed, and it's pretty much the exact same stats as the Stark Rifle, which was pretty good. Stark Rifle, in it has slow fire rate like this one, but it had a bit better range, which unfortunately the range hasn't changed. But this one does have better accuracy, but it doesn't really have that much good range. Something I really didn't like about it, like, what's the point of it being accurate if it can't even like shoot that far? So even if it's accurate, if the person's too far, it won't really matter. Just have enough range. But now it actually does really decent damage, and it's a, you know, possible item to pick up. Okay, you will see people using this as an actual AR now. Like, you'll see people using this. Probably still not that much, but still people will be using it. They've also changed the AK to be, actually I saw AK before, but I didn't bother to pick it up. I guess I just kind of forgot. But the AK has been changed significantly. It's back to, it's not exactly as its original state, but it's closer to it. In its original state, it was less faster, but way more accurate. And now it's back to that state, and I'm really happy that it. So if you go find the AK, if we are able to find an AK, then I can actually show you guys this. So let's go ahead and try to find an AK real quick. I believe I saw one here. It's still, you know, as common as ever. Those things are really common. So yeah, now it has slower fire rate and better accuracy, from what I understand. It feels the same though. But yes, we're gonna hold on to this item for a while. And yeah, it does feel dramatic though. The fire rate feels the same, and I know the fire rate feels okay, I do when I have no max. Wait, I do have max. Why did I say I had no max? I had max. Oh wow, that was beautiful last life. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop from playing Smash. I'm gonna just finish talk about the update, and the video's gonna end. So that has also been changed in this update, the weapon changes. But and yeah, that pretty much covers most of basically everything that happened in this update, except for one thing, and that is that exotic item got added in this update. I won't talk about it too much because it's already been removed, and the reason why is because it was a glitch, and it was because it wasn't supposed to be added this update. It was called the alien pop gun, not exactly the alien pop gun, but it was basically an alien pop gun, and it worked way different than the actual pop gun, but it had the same, you know, effect. It turned you into a pop. And it actually sounded something OP that you could use as an exotic item. It actually sounded like something good. I would actually make, you know, being a pop, you could choose which pop you want it to be, but not, you know, but the same way you used to do it with an actual pop gun, which is creative now. So yeah, that is the final thing in this new update. And the last thing I'm going to cover is some old news. So I haven't been able to cover this because all of it was kind of small, but now it's something that we can all actually cover it. And the final thing is that the Arena Grande concert will be happening on August 6th, and most people, Epic Games, from what I've seen, they haven't actually, said it themselves, but like it hasn't been in any challenge. They just said it's gonna happen on August 6th, and the countdown doesn't tell you that's happening at multiple dates. But this is gonna be like the Travis Scott concert, and it's gonna be multiple times where you can go to the concert. So this is pretty nice. It's like Travis Scott concert, so it won't overload in any way. Like it won't overload servers at just multiple dates. You can take a break. You can go on the third one or whatever you want. So the first one is going to be August 6, 5 p.m. depending on where you are. That's pretty much date. August 7, 1 p.m. The next one, August 7, 11 p.m. August 8, 9 p.m. and August 8, 5 p.m. So those are all 5 dates. I would also recommend saving a date, as it says here, for a challenge to get a cool reward. And also, one more thing you should know is that there are cool rewards you can get for completing these challenges. None of them really good, but this one, a 10 rift tour, it has umbrella. So if you're thinking about just watching the event on YouTube or something, go with it. So anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember taking blood support from DC, Suicide Squad movies is here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like as always, appreciate it. Please subscribe. This is XP Gaming out.